Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the podcast, just jumping in here to let you guys know that this is one we did with Brax about 3 weeks ago. We recorded it. We had a bunch of issues. The next episode is also recorded, which we explain the shit that went on. But basically just know this one is from about 3 weeks ago with some of the time frame on the stuff. But a lot of the stuff we speak about is just general, just chat that we, like, nothing's really time relevant entirely. So just to let you guys know that this one is a little bit delayed coming out. Apologies, and we'll get back into the rhythm.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Gacha Mates Podcast, episode 9. We have one of the most renowned and well-respected guide makers in the space, my boy Braxophone. You want to say something real quick, Brax?
Yeah, what's up? Hello.
Yeah, no, you're good, man. We've been trying to get Brax on for a bit, but as usual, life gets in the way, and we have obligations to not only our families, but also work, sponsorships, you name it. In this episode, we are looking to touch up on Brax's personal life, kind of outside of the gacha space. I loved when I bring guests on to get to know who they are outside of their guide and their work and what they're doing and so on and so forth. Oh, you were moving your hands over there. I thought you wanted to say something, Brax.
Oh, my bad.
Anyways, no, you're good, brother. Anyways, we're going to be talking about what, there is to know about Brax, and then we're going to get into Honkai Star Rail with regards to Firefly and Power Creep. We might even touch up on Wuthering Waves. 1.1 is right around the corner. We'll see. We're trying to keep it to about an hour and a half. But other than that, we're pretty good, and we're just going to be here vibing. Now, Volk, there was something that we were talking about off stream that I wanted to bring back up again because I think it's pretty good for the community to listen to. But go ahead, Volk.
Yeah, we were having this conversation, and then Smack started getting into his podcast mode when he was just talking to the two of us, and I'm like, maybe we should just record this shit.
Record this, yeah.
But yeah, no, I was just talking about, because we were just talking about our channels and our general stuff. And I was like, I hit this point like a couple days ago. It's really weird. I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Like, me and Smack, we're getting on in age. How old are you, Brax?
Oh, dude, I'm 26.
Oh, yeah, you're young as fuck, dude.
Holy, I didn't know
I'm
that.
chilling, yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, dude.
I didn't know that.
That is so young.
Anyway, and by the way, it's not that I
now.
thought you. It's not that I thought you look older. It's actually that you carry yourself well. You actually look young as shit.
Okay. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I know if I shave my beard though, I look 15. So it's like a completely different.
No,
that's why this
I'm
stays
serious.
on.
And this is not me like glazing. You don't look old, but you carry yourself
Smack's
as an
glazing
older
hard.
individual.
You know what it is?
I was trying to make him think. I was hoping he wouldn't think I'm calling him like he looks older than he actually is.
Yeah. Well, you know what I think that is honestly like when I went to school, I went for music education, and they kept telling us like, oh, we always have to be like professional. We always have to be like. We always have to seem like we're like at the head of something or in charge of something. So that way, like, the kids will like respect that. And so I feel like that's something I've like kind of developed. Honestly, sometimes I think it's a double-edged sword because I think it scares people sometimes. But
it's proper etiquette though. And it just gives off a sense of maturity and being an adult at the end of the day. But yeah, Volk, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah.
On,
So as like I'm turning 35 later this year. Smack's turning 37. So he's getting on. No, how old are you? I always forget. You're early 30s, yeah?
I'm halfway to 33, low key, but yeah, 32.
Okay, yeah. So like I'm getting on in age, and it's this really weird thing that happens, and I feel like everyone will eventually get there. And I was like, I feel like I've hit the peak, and now like I'm about to turn over and start going down in terms of like, I always look at like strength in gym, and then it's like, just general body wear and tear and stuff like that. It's this interesting thing, and then I hit this one where I was thinking about like you're like the whole overall purpose in life. So once you've got a few more extra years, you've had a few more extra years of income, you're in a better position and stuff like that. I'm in a pretty like good position family wise, life wise, financially, all that stuff. And I'm like, I was like, I had this thing. I'm like, what is like my drive now? Obviously I have kids, so their welfare is my number one priority. But I was like, outside of that, like, what am I going for in life now? It was this super weird thing, and I've been going for runs the last few mornings, and I've just been thinking about it. I've nutted out like my focus because I find for me personally, I have to have like a dead set focus on something like I am going 100% for, and that's like the basis of everything I do. And so we're having this conversation about like, you get into it and you're like, what am I actually aiming for? Because when you're younger,
yeah.
And like Smack, you had your example of, paying off the house and like, you have a lot of financial goals. But once
I want to get into that too.
Yeah,
I just want to help you out there, Volk. It's basically like, and it seems Volk has definitely acquired a lot of success, not only spiritually, but also mentally. as a man, when you grow up, you're looking to start a family, you're looking to have your kids, you're looking to build an empire, and you're looking to have financial stability, most importantly. And my dream is still to this day to own a home, so that I'm finally able to say, damn, I did all this on my own. I have my house now. My kids are going to school. They're going to these gymnastics classes that I want them to go to. I want them to learn how to do. I still have a lot of shit that I'm looking to acquire. Volkin is pretty much said, fuck you, Smack. I've already been there and done that.
and just for reference, because that reminded me what started this whole conversation before. I was like, boys, let's just shoot the shit for a little bit, because I have my in-laws here, and they're just leaving, so the kids are noisy and shit. And Smack's like, I can't wait for that. And I was like, what the fuck?
He's right. Because I was telling him one of my dreams is to just be able to own a house first and foremost, and then when I have family and friends come over, I'm like, there's the guest room, my lord. It's something so huge, but
it's so different to that, because what actually happens is they come over and you're like, oh fuck, I didn't know you were going to be here this early, and then your guest room is like the dumping ground of all the shit, and you're like, oh fuck, I gotta go clear it out, and you're getting everything out, and then you just throw it all in the laundry, and then you got to put the shit in the rubbish, which you got to wash through the laundry to the outside bin, and you're like, I can't get to the outside. Like, fuck. It's never as clean as you think.
It boils down to, that's so fucking funny, Volk. I feel like the community is gonna love that tidbit. But it boils down to a gift that keeps on giving. You need to have a fish to catch on the fucking fishing hook. And if you don't have a fish to catch, then you're sitting there like, what the hell am I doing sitting at this pond? And so we were having a talk, and I was saying it's always important to have a fish to catch. And there's a million things out there to do in the world that we don't know shit about. Me personally, I'd love to know more about politics. I'd love to know about self-defense. Jiu-jitsu. Like, there's a lot of things I would love to learn. I just don't have the time for them. And I was telling Volk, I was like, if you've hit that barrier in your wall, then you just find that fucking new thing to do. Maybe it takes a little bit of experimenting or so on and so forth. But essentially, you've hit that wall where you're like, I've conquered everything. And as a man, and you know what? I'm not going to limit it to gender, but I can only speak for myself. You kind of want to have something to conquer all the time. And if you have nothing to conquer, then you're kind of looking around like, what the fuck do I do now? Does that make sense, Volk?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's like a great thing for general mental health is having a focus in your life. Like, and like where I got to, I was like, and because obviously my focus is my kids now. Like, once you have kids, like that has to be your, like, if that's not your focus once you have kids, like, like that's got to be your focus, because that's like you've taken on that responsibility.
Brax, I want you to chime in on this too, by the way, brother. I know you got something cooking up over there in that damn psychopath brain of yours. The reason I call it psychopath, because he has this way of looking at the camera like a stone cold killer.
Yes.
But if you want to chime in, Brax, let us know what you're thinking about this topic.
Oh no, I just want to interrupt you guys have a lot of good shit to say, right? Like, I just no, but I agree. I always feel like there's always something like you want to learn, something you want to do. So like when you run out of that, it's like, well now what, right? But I'm with you, because I feel like I want to do so many things. I want to produce music, like EDM and stuff. Like I want to DJ. I want to learn to do that. I want to learn to code. I want to make a game at some point. Like, I want to do all this shit, but I can't do it because I'm doing all this other shit, which is really fun shit. I like it. I like making videos and stuff, but it's like finding time to do that is tough. You can't find time until you've done all the other shit first.
Those are all avenues.
Volkin's done everything. So.
But that's the thing. I haven't. It was just like I was looking for that thing, and I'll get to my solution for it anyway. But I think Brax, I got to call you out here. I think you have the time if you stop playing all the other games you play for fun for 8 hours a day instead, like when you're not making content.
Hey, that's actually low-key true, bro.
So, I have no time, guys. I just spent 8 hours playing Baldur's Gate. I don't know what to do.
That's a good topic for us to go into.
It's like a reaction for me, because it's like I make content. I sit there for 12 hours writing a script because I have fucking horrendous ADHD, and so I can't focus on what I'm supposed to be doing. And I write my script, I record all my shit, and then if it's a video that my editor can have, then I like send it over to them, and then they start working on it. And then it's like I either start on the next like thing for a sponsor, I go live, or I try to chill. And I'm really running out of time to chill. So what I've done is I've just not worked recently. And I've been playing Dark and Darker, Baldur's Gate, all that shit. So.
Fuck it.
I feel like I feel like the dynamic of your occupation too is like you have these deadlines to meet for the guides you're trying to make. You're like, oh, okay, Firefly's getting ready to come out. Okay, I have this amount of time until I have to get that deadline done, and that kind of like incentivizes you to fuck off. Because you're just like, I have a lot of breathing room. It does. Yeah. And it's a good thing, but I could easily see it because I do the same thing when a sponsorship's up. I'm like, okay, I got 2 weeks. Oh, that means like I can fuck off of it.
I'll download that game in a week and a half. And
yeah, man, the burden of procrastination is absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But I did want to get into that. Go ahead, Volk. You want to say
I
something?
was just going to say, yeah, because for me, it's different. Like, I'm always busy. Like I can keep myself busy all day, every day with content because I have like the 4 channels. And if I'm not, if there's nothing to upload, like Wuthering Waves, we were looking at, I haven't uploaded on that channel in 18 days just because like it ran out of content that I wanted to. We'll talk about that in the whole like MTash point of view as well in a bit. But it's like, I'll just go jump to something else that I play and I'll just make like 2, 3, 4 videos a day because like that keeps me busy. But yeah, like we're just backtracking a little bit back to like what was like the purpose, because obviously like I said, kids were the one, and then I was like, what's my personal like drive, like what am I, because like I'm good at keeping busy and doing stuff, making content. I was like, what's my drive? So I just went deep. I thought back to myself like when was I my like absolute happiest, and it was like when fitness was like my number one thing and everything else took a back seat. And so that's where I am back to now. Like I told you, I sat down, I made all my macros out, I got all my meal planning sorted, like what I'm doing now. I'm like back into doing my like just like zone 2 type cardio in the mornings. Then I try and do some HIIT, and then I do my gym sessions. And I'm like, now
Holy
I'm
shit,
like,
Belk, you're really informed.
Yeah. So now I'm like, I'm boxing out like 3 hours a day to just fitness. And then
quick little interjection from the fitness professional. Volk's going off expecting you guys to keep up with all this shit. Macros are carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. You have a certain limit you need to hit for each portion, and it's depending entirely on your body composition, how tall you are, how much you weigh, so on and so forth. Then he just threw in HIIT zone 2 training, like you're supposed to know what that is. It's essentially your heart rate zone that burns the most fat. Okay, go ahead, Volk.
Yeah. So yeah, but basically go for a jog, do some skipping or some sprints, and then go into the gym. Like that's my general day. And the good thing, the lucky thing for me, I don't know if you guys like this. Like the great thing for me is I don't care about food that much. Like I can appreciate if food's good.
That's such a good buff. That's a buff, Volk.
So it's like every lunch, chicken breast. The funny thing is, like I'll make lunch for the missus, and I just cook up a chicken breast, and I throw some Moroccan seasoning on it while I'm cooking it. And then if she's eating with me, I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to put your other shit in this, because I just put it in a wrap, slap some salsa on it, and I'm fucking eating and I'm done. Like, so like in the mornings, like I just get the, because it's I'm a big efficiency type person with that kind of shit.
A level 1 cooking skill, bro.
Dude. So breakfast, not like if the missus is eating, I'll crack eggs and cook eggs. But otherwise, you know those carton egg whites? You just pour some of that into a bowl, chuck it in the microwave, take it out, slap it on a plate, put some salsa on it. Yeah, it's...
Bro, I'm telling you, but that's a fucking buff, bro. Like, you don't... I can't do that. I'm just like, nah, bro.
Dude, it was the funniest, because when my missus was pregnant, was when I was in, like, peak, like, fitness obsession. Yeah. And every meal was a meat, a starchy carb, normally, like, couscous or quinoa or something, or brown rice, and then just a ton of veg. And she's like pregnant, and when you're pregnant, you get like, you need, like, you get picky. She's like, I can't do this anymore. So I had to start cooking double. So it was so funny. Yeah. But so that's where I got back to. I'm like, that is like, and I think it's like, if you're lacking a focus or like a drive for anything, if you default to fitness and then you play your life and your body like a video game where you're trying to level up, it's like the easiest mental space to get into. Is what I kind of found.
Huge. Yeah, I love that, actually, Volk. And I think it's a huge stabilizer in anybody's lives. A lot of people, especially the ones that don't do fitness, love to try and fucking find an excuse as to why they can't do fitness. And they don't understand that they're actually just like giving their health a debuff and their mental state of clarity a debuff as well. I try to preach that as much. Obviously, it's my occupation. But I feel like fitness can only fulfill so much of that motivating factor. At the end of the day, you still need to find something a bit more fulfilling and something that's going to feel purposeful and good on the soul.
Yeah. But having said that, when you're into it, like you have no idea how much, like, you know how some people struggle to wake up in the morning?
Yeah.
When I'm like, okay, 3:30 is my get up time to go for a run. Like I hear that alarm and I'm up and excited. Like when you have motivation to do something like that, it gives you the motivation to get up.
Same thing, like if a new game's coming out at a specific time and it's inconvenient, you don't give a fuck. You're up.
Yeah.
That's so true, man. But I feel like this whole entire conversation, I know we're talking about life and shit, guys, but I feel like it all boils down to making good arguments for games that are being designed and how they're being designed. If there's too much instant gratification or if there's like a lack of a motivating factor in the game and you're achieving things too quickly, I feel like this is the infrastructure to design a balanced game. And all the things we're talking about do apply to video gaming and your fulfillment or enjoyment of those games. And I feel like people just gloss over this shit and they always resort back to instant gratification, especially in gacha games. And they just overlook certain barriers, I guess, that are designed so that you can actually enjoy the game and the longevity of the thing.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah. And it's a tough balance because I feel like Wuthering Waves was one of the ones that everything came too quick.
Yeah,
especially when you look at echoes. When you look at echoes, and on like day 2, you're farming the highest rarity echoes and getting also like full sets. Yeah.
Well, the in game, the 5-star rarity literally came 10 levels quicker than it did in Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. You were able to get 5-star rarity gear at Union 30. You weren't able to get that at all. It wasn't even an option until Union 40 or whatever the fuck you want to call the terminology in Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. You just couldn't grind it.
Yeah.
And then what happened? People were like, well, I have no tuners or I have no echoes. It's like, well, it's because you're grinding that shit 10 levels earlier than you should be. So that's actually quite crucial. Go ahead, Brax.
So, you know what I think actually made that feel worse for Wuthering Waves? I actually think that, I think they do give 2 little tuners in the what's it called? Fucking
the
things where you
tacit field.
Tacit fields, yeah. I do feel like the tuner drops are too little. Like, I'll be honest. But, like, I think that the reason it feels so bad is because you can technically infinitely farm, but then they gate, like after you get the thing that you want, the second step of the thing you want is what's gated. I think if it was the same as Genshin, where they like gated the initial thing, which was getting the actual drop, then it would feel a lot better along the way because then you could do a little bit of both at the same time. But then it's like also, the instant gratification thing that you were talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It depends on the player base too, the type of game. But what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, my analogy for Wuthering Waves was like my reflection of it was day 1 and 2, like just giga hype. Like it was fun because you're progressing through. Then you hit the burnout echo grind phase, where if you're a sweaty player, you were spending 8 hours a day grinding echoes trying to get the right 3 cost. And that's like your burnout phase. And then you hit the final phase, which is no tuners. And so the problem is when you were sweating hard in that middle phase, like day 3 to 5 of a sweaty player, it was so frustrating because you felt like you were spending 8 hours a day to do what you would do in Honkai Star Rail in 5 minutes, which is burn your stamina. Get no, like Star Rail, you spend 5 minutes, you burn your stamina, you get no gear that you want to upgrade, and you move on. Whereas this, you spend 8 hours to get the echo, then you roll the stats, get trash, and then you move on. And you've just wasted eight extra hours. That was my problem with it.
I see. This is interesting. I'm actually in complete opposition to you guys on this. And I'm speaking like shooting it straight. I personally, when I do the tacit fields, and here's what I will say. Here is a underlying problem that I found in the game, and it actually is a bit of an epiphany. It's when you try to make people horizontal progress while they're still vertically progressing. I think that's the biggest fundamental problem with Wuthering Waves. Again, the 10 levels sooner shit. You shouldn't be able to grind in-game if you're still trying to shoot up and get characters to level 80 or whatever the fuck the cap is. That should be something that should be separate, and you should only really have an horizontal line once you're able to fucking grind that. You have nothing else to grind, because get this, tacit, I mean, the tuners may seem low, but once you build everybody up, the only thing you're going to be spending your resources on are those tacit fields. And in 7 days of straight tacit field farming, all of a sudden you got tuners in abundance. All of a sudden you have echo experience in abundance. But the problem is you're doing it so early that you're still trying to vertical progression. You're like, I got no tuners to horizontally progress, when you kind of shouldn't be horizontally progression at all.
Yeah, with my take, that was based on a sweaty player in that day 3 to 6 range. I agree. Yeah. The game turns into Star Rail where you just run your tacit fields, you get nothing, you just move on.
Get the fuck off.
Yeah. It does end up, but it has that in-between phase, which is like the mega burnout phase for someone who's really grinding.
It's a little overwhelming.
I agree. Yeah, it's overwhelming. But this is the thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, Volk, because you're a pillar for Honkai Star Rail when it first came out. The same shit happened at Trailblaze 30 in Honkai Star Rail. 30 to 40 was a bitch. It was just like, when am I gonna hit 40? Because that was that point of the game where it just killed everything, and all you could do was literally stamina grind and get off. Which I know you're okay with that, Volk, because in terms of efficiency, that just makes the most sense. But me personally, I was still loving the game, and I just couldn't do anything.
Well, for me, this gets back to something that I spoke about with you guys earlier. I just don't like the Hoyo model of game. Like it's great for super casual and it's great from a content creator point of view. It's great for social commentators, which I classify you to make that type of content, Smack. So like you fall into that category. It's great for the really in-depth, sweaty guide makers like Brax. But for in-between people like me and MTashed, the model of Hoyo games is just the fucking worst. Because yes, because I have to be playing the game and enjoying the game and making gameplay content on the game to be having fun with content. These games are great for the first 2 weeks, and then there is absolutely nothing unless you're making the super sweaty guides or doing the social commentary type thing. Besides that, there's not much content to make for these games. That's why I love idle games, because I can just sit there and I can play through a new account and I can do stuff. Like, there's just endless stuff to do. Whereas these games, it's like, nah, you get that, you talk about shit or you make a guide on a new character, and there's like no in between.
And after that is just wake up every day, spend stamina, and hope I get some shit for my one character or my one little stat.
Yeah, which once again, for a lot of players, that's like the best way to do it, because you get to, because I find these are more social games. Like, it's more about being on Twitter and shit, and that's not who I am. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. Like, I was saying to you guys earlier, like a bunch of like the quote unquote dramas that happen, I had no idea what these fucking words meant until these things happen. Like the first one when Brax put in a tweet, like subtweet, and I had to look up what subtweet was. Then the next one was headcanon. I had never fucking heard of that. And then the shipping. And I'm like, boys, why are we even fucking talking about this shit? Does anyone actually care? Like and all these fucking like drama things that happen. And I'm just like, the problem with all this stuff is, and then you got Tectone going, everyone should cover the drama because it's the only way you're going to get people to love you. And it's like, but Tech, I just genuinely don't give a fuck. So like, I'm just going to stick to playing games. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like all this stuff is just beyond my comprehension.
No, but to be honest with you, there's a whole entire audience out there that has the exact same mindset as you. 110%. It's not everybody wants to hear that shit. There's a lot of people out there to do that. And then there's more people who do want to hear it at the end of the day. But but back to the point, I think that the games are great for that casual social aspect because they don't take much time and you get a really well polished game and a decent like Star Rail. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't paid attention to the story in Star Rail since 2.0, like 2.1 and beyond. Like my problem is I'm that guy. I need to binge a show. Like I loved Star Rail story from the base game, but like I hate waiting a week to get a new episode in a show. Let alone waiting 3 weeks to get like a quarter of an episode. Fuck that. Like I just lose my motivation and interest in it. Same exact wavelength there, brother.
Yo, Volk, do you play MMOs at all or not?
I like to say I invested about 7 years of my life into WoW.
Okay, yeah. Because I feel like there's a so you brought up MTash earlier. So I feel like there's definitely a connection with like the MMO to gacha pipeline is pretty like common. But the gameplay in the games, the only thing that's similar is that they're long-term commitment. But the difference is that MMOs like are way more grindy. Like you can be grindy with it. You can sit there and farm infinitely, where like without the stamina system. Versus like the gacha games where like you are limited daily. And I find that like a lot of the people that are really tired of like the stamina shit, where like you just like log in, you do your shit, and then you hope it doesn't take too much time so you can just stop doing that shit and go do something else, are like MMO players. That's what I was wondering, because I was like, that's also where I come from too.
Yeah, see,
he was an MMO player at his heart too, because he said he was a WoW fucking like addiction. Hardcore, right? Well,
yeah, I started in Lich King and I quit in Legion.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. That's what a lot of people quit in BFA. I think is the big drop off. That's around when I stopped as well.
Yeah, I think I like played like 2 days of BFA and that was it. I was just like, but that was also like a changing of my life. Like, you know, I had kids and
Yeah, and I wanted to talk about that. The funny thing is, Brax, if you ask me, bro, I think MMOs are the perfect fucking games to get into. But the issue that me and Volk run into is we can't have our whole fucking life being consumed by it. And that's literally the problem.
That's
it's
what
like,
the Gacha
this game offers me everything I need, but it's in a bad way.
I'm sure I've said this on the stream before, but this is literally how I got into content creation. We had our son. Like my first kid, I took like 3 months off work or something because it was like he was a December baby, so I took the start of December and then I took like all of February off. And and what happened when we had him? I set because this was my peak WoW time. So I set my my computer up on my coffee table in the living room, and he was in the cot in the living room, and basically I would sit there for like 12, 14 hours a day playing WoW, and it was like straight after he was born, and he'd sit there and the missus would be in the bed and just chill, just relax and getting her energy back, and he would cry. I'd get up and I'd take him in, and then I'd just be back playing. And it's like, and I had this fucking realization. I'm like, holy shit, when this guy starts moving around, I ain't going to be able to do this anymore. And so that's when I went back to mobile games. Cause before that I had also played Summoner's War for like 4 or 5 years. And then, so I went back to mobile games, found a new game, which was like a Summoner's War clone. That's how I started making content. And that's how the whole thing started.
Beautiful. And what I found from that you just shared is gacha games are so fucking perfect for the busy man or the busy woman. They really are. It's like, I can get this shit out the way, and then there's that period of nothing, but there's that period of nothing because I actually have shit I have to do. So I'm okay with that period of nothing. Yeah. If it wasn't a period of nothing, then it'd be an MMO. You know what I mean? And then I'd be in that same boat where I'm like, I can't keep up with this.
And I think one level between where Brax was at talking about MMOs into gacha games is that gacha games are different, because I played about it was probably close to 6 years of Summoner's War, which is once again a turn-based gacha game, but it has the different stamina system where you could infinitely refresh stamina and it was cheap to refill, but you had to repeat the stage and play it through, and which you have to do here, but it added a whole new level of team building that Honkai Star Rail deleted out of the turn-based genre, which I hate, which is like building speed teams and stuff. So in those types of games, which is the same with Epic 7, Raid Shadow Legends, and stuff like that, those games were all about building faster teams to farm the dungeons faster. Like when you get into them, you're probably doing 5-minute runs for the dungeons to get a drop of gear. And then you want to build a faster team so that you can burn your premium currency on stamina faster to keep doing that farm. So it was like a whole next level of team building. It was like, oh, I got my Giant Speed 10 team down to a 1-minute run. Then you want to get it to a 30-second run. And so those games were kind of like more towards the MMO scale of a gacha game, because you literally played them all day, but all you're doing was hitting retry and getting gear drop after gear drop after gear drop. So it was like that nice in-between level of, you get that MMO feel like you're always grinding, but you're not actually doing anything. It's just on auto in the background. And hey, you just put an auto clicker on and away it goes. It doesn't matter. So it I feel like there is that in-between.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, I feel like some people, I've noticed that a lot of the people that I know that play MMOs really enjoy the Echo Grind and Wuthering Waves. But not everyone, obviously, but a lot of the people that are used to gacha games hate the Echo Grind. And I think it's just because it's such a big commitment. Like you were saying, it's the horizontal and vertical at the same time, makes it a much longer time commitment, a much bigger effort commitment. This is another thing I talked about with Genshin too. It's like when I do an artifact run, it feels like I'm doing like AAA game like investment of my time and energy for like mobile game rewards. And it gets like kind of exhausting. So like I feel like Wuwa is like all the MMO players that are enjoying the Echo Grind is because I can sit there and I can just do this all day because I don't have a kid next to me. So I
and
get
shoot the shit with
around.
my friends and just fucking banter all day while I'm doing it as well. That's what I like about it. I streamed more than I ever streamed in my life because of that. Because I was able to just shoot the shit with chat while I'm farming stuff. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the farm is optional, and it's just an extra edge that you don't have to do. And that's where I'm like, I can't really see the point of view of like people having problems with it. I'm like, well, if you don't want to do it, then just get off, brother. You do the tacit field, get the fuck off. It costs 260 Astrite to refresh twice, which can give you that extra edge. 60 for 2 refreshes is not that bad, honestly. And depending on who you are, if you're playing a gacha game, I imagine you're well established or somewhat established to where that shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, but I feel like we spent enough time on that topic. I want to move on to Firefly power creep and what you guys think about that whole ordeal. I actually probably, surprise, I might have different opinion from you guys on it, but I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts. Volk, go ahead, or Brax. You know what, Brax, go ahead and start it off. What do you think about that?
Okay, so back when Star Rail was about to launch, I made a video about how free-to-play friendly is Honkai Star Rail.
Mm-hmm.
And it was talking about the idea of like you don't have to spend anything because it's a Hoyo game, so it's not going to power creep. And I think that I may have made a mistake. So I don't think, okay, the premise was not wrong, right? Obviously, you don't have to spend shit in this game. Free-to-play players are clear in endgame. It's fine. But holy fuck, it's actually like getting to me so bad now. Because playing I'm like, every time there's a new character out, I'm like, surely they're not gonna be like better than the last character, right? Like surely we've hit the ceiling now and we're gonna like dial it back a little bit and it's just gonna be kind of here. And wow. So Firefly is fucking insane. It's fucking crazy. Especially like the fact that you can do all this at low investment is ridiculous. The fact that you can use like the Herda Shop light cone and pump out like between 200 and 500k damage per skill, and she's fast as fuck. She's like 210 speed or whatever. It just keeps on going and going and going. It's fucking ridiculous. And I do think that there's one maybe saving grace to this if they are looking for a balancing factor, but I still think it's bullshit. Which is that
the shield break.
It's the shield break, and it's the fact that if they wanted to phase out Firefly specifically and get you to pull in another character, they just introduce character or enemies that like can't be broken, or like
it's
enemies
not that they can't be broken, but they put the irritating like a point of time where they're like, can't break my shield,
yeah, or it's just health bar. They don't have the resistance that comes with toughness, but it's just health bar, and they're not broken, right? And then you're like fucked. You can't break them anymore. You can't do super break either because they can't be broken, right? So I feel like that would fuck Boot Hill. That would fuck Firefly. That would be like every other break character that comes out. And they have done this in Genshin. And I feel like that is like one like potential future balancing factor, which is why I'm a little iffy on like, okay, is Firefly like really like the best DPS to pull on in the game? Because like Acheron doesn't have that problem. It's in her ult. Right, like unless they're immune to lightning damage, which I'm hoping they never fucking do.
But okay. Can I just want to jump in there? I think that if they did that, it's incredibly identify
Volkin. Identify did what?
If they remove the toughness bar, so you've just sold a whole basically expansion worth of characters focused around Break. You got Run May, you got Boot Hill, you got Sam, you got the MC, which wasn't sold, but you know what I mean. You've just sold this whole thing, and then you go, by the way, they are all completely fucking useless. It's like that would be like saying no, they're immune to lightning damage on Acheron. Do you know what I mean? Like, because when you said the Acheron thing, you're like, that would be bullshit. But I'm like, no. You completely remove, like, adjust it. For instance, I think, like, you know, Sam Boss, where the break bar is incredibly huge. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can modify it with ways like that, but you can't just negate an entire way of a character to deal damage. I feel like that would be too much for me. But that's the one thing
I actually completely agree with you guys. The one thing I will say though, like just kind of like a devil's advocate thing here, is it seems Honkai Star Rail, whoever the fuck the team is behind them, is doing the most genius marketing strat for making money off of a monetization model. Because the way they do it, it's like a sushi spinning bar every time, and it's changing the meta in that way too. But every time a fucking character gets promoted, they add a theme and an infrastructure that makes that character seem godly, and they let it last for about 6 weeks. And then they say, okay, it's time to kill that shit and let's get ready for the next bunch of characters. Let's make sure this theme and infrastructure matches their fucking power, make them feel like they're the strongest and they can't be power creep. And then we fucking spin the sushi bar again and bring it back around again. And it's like, that shit is the ultimate hype, FOMO, and convince you that your character can't be power crept until they then add a little tweak here and there to power creep the fucking character. I'm like, damn.
The thing that absolutely blew my mind, like, I feel like Jing Liu phase, because the first big power creep we had was Imbibitor Lunade, then straight Jing Liu. And Jing Liu had a long time. But the thing that blew my mind is, and for people watching the channel that are like, Volkin, where was your account summons? I was going to stream it. My internet was absolute dog shit, so I recorded it. I accidentally had my fucking mic muted, so I had no audio. So
tell them about Australian internet. They need to understand.
Dude, it's fucking dog shit. It's just, that's all you need to know. But yeah, I was on 2 upload, and I'm like, there's no way I'm streaming on this. So I recorded it. I have fucking mic muted, but I got E2 Firefly. So
that's the worst.
On my free to play. So, the thing that blew, so keep in mind, I say that to preface that mine's is a bit skewed because it is E2 Firefly, but I still free to play. But the thing that blew my mind was I just got Acheron and her Lycone. Acheron and her Lycone with running Silverwolf Power Team feels like shit compared to Firefly already. And I'm like, wow, like how does Acheron feel like shit already? Like this makes no sense. And that's in MOC 12. And I'm like, what?
It's the spin shit. And like I said, the way they did it, though, Volk, is clever. Those new fire enemies have a shit ton of health, and they can only really be fucked when you got somebody doing ridiculous amounts of damage, like a Firefly. So Acheron's damage is no longer that much because it's just, she can't push out the damage that Firefly pushes out. On the other hand, though, they can easily put enemies in the game that don't have that much health to where, what's it called? Acheron obliterates them, but then Firefly can't get access to the break no more, so she's not doing that much damage either. It's an indirect nerf. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, they do this shit before it even drops. They're like, yep, that's how we're going to handle that problem.
Can I just say, though,
it's insane.
On the topic of power creep, because we're having like much smaller niche game, AFK Journey, because I love idle games. We're having the opposite problem in that game where there has been no powerful characters since release and everyone's fucking pissed. Like, it's like, where is the power creep? Like, give me something to fucking summon for. So I think like that 3 months in, it's like, I'm fucking still saving. Like, what am I going to pull on?
Yeah,
but
it's necessary.
Yeah, I like it in Star. Like, it gets me excited. And so the thing with Star Rail as well is you got to remember, it doesn't matter if you summon on the last character, you will have some summons and you always have that chance to get that character. So there's always an excitement with a new powerful character. So I really actually enjoy power creep in Star Rail, like as controversial. It's a PvE game. Who gets like, okay, power creep comes, your OP team is no longer OP and you miss 1 star in MOC. Does it matter?
Oh, who's complaining about this?
Yeah,
who's really? No, there's a lot of people, but I'm saying who is it that's actually complaining about this?
Yeah, I think just because I'm playing in 2 games with the complete opposite problems, I enjoy power creep, especially like maybe it's a bit different when you got a competitive game like Journey has leaderboards and stuff. But I think power creep's fun, especially in Star Rail.
So I agree with this.
I agree, Volk.
Off the record, because I don't want anyone. I'm kidding. You guys can put this. It's like don't let anyone know that I'm okay with that. No.
He's like, off the record. Fuck these broke people, bro. That's fine.
No, and that's the other thing. I'm coming from a free to player's perspective as well.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the thing is, like, you can still clear with a lot of the older characters with like, if you've been investing in them since the start and you know how the game works, and like you have like one of the new supports or something, like you're usually fine. Unless you're playing Zila or Jingyun. But like if you're playing anyone else in the game, right, like you're probably fine. And the thing is, like, these guys, like you were saying, it's like the sushi bar, the rotation thing. So I don't know, did you play Genshin, Smack?
I played it for a very long time, so long that no matter how much time I take off, I still understand it profoundly. Go ahead though.
Okay, yeah. So you remember like when Zhongli's shield was just like everyone was using it and like that was just a thing? They put in corrosion because nobody would pull for Kokomi unless they put in corrosion.
That's true.
So they made it so a mechanic literally drained your HP through shields so that you would have to pull for this fucking healer. And now Fontaine is out and they've been trying to fix Bennett for 4 years. And so now they're just like, all right, everyone scales on HP now. Nobody scales on attack anymore. And it's like, this is what they
start
do.
rolling them out. Like it's that philosophy. You want to control it well. You do it like one itty bitty step at a time, so nobody realizes that you're actually low key going towards that direction. What they do, and I don't know this for a fact, I haven't kept up, but it's Fontaine. Have they already started dropping those HP scaling characters little by little? You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's been lots of HP scaling. They actually just went back to an attack scaling unit, I think. But yeah, it's like a lot of HP scaling characters. And a lot of characters that like limit their max HP or something, or like their healing capabilities to a certain amount, or like absorb this thing. It's this new mechanic that they put in to try to also make healers less good at multiple things.
I get what you mean, but your point is solid. And guys, what this tells me, in fact, did you want to finish anything, Brax, that you were saying?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I will say, to Zilla Main's credit, she's really good at Apocalyptic Shadow. I found that out because you can just literally focus the boss and everything on the side dies. And she breaks
that's
a lot,
true.
which is actually decent. And yeah.
I always thought, like, and I wouldn't, me, I'm the biggest Sela hater. I always thought in order for her to really pop off, she needed that resurgence proc. But even without the resurgence proc, she's still hitting like a truck.
Yeah, she still hits pretty well. Resurgence is like what made her like top, but like it's just the amount that she can break on her own in Apocalyptic Shadow makes her really good right now.
Okay, well, what I wanted to get into after having all of this talk about this shit, I just had a quick little epiphany, or I've always had it. I just never said it out loud. But like at the end of the day, Hoyoverse is genius in terms of the blueprint plan of their marketing, because they solidify it first. And I feel like they discuss it as well. They discuss the mentality of the community and everything. And they say, yeah, that's how that's going to play out. All right, put that shit in the game. I feel like it works perfectly every time because only they know what's coming next. And they know how to set it up to where it aligns perfectly with the psychology of the community and what they're going to think.
Well, when you say only they know, also all the people that they allow to do leaks.
True. You're right there.
They know as well, so then everyone else knows.
But I'm talking about
I'm not talking about you, Brax. I'm talking about like the early leaks. You know.
I'm talking about the comprehensive.
You think it's covered the inside?
They're not banning channels, so 100% they're letting it happen.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking early stages, guys. Like
I know what you're
like
talking.
Brax scripting. Yeah, like you're writing down the character's kit and you're saying this is how it functions. Okay, now how can we make this character seem strong? And then now how can we make sure they get nerfed when it comes to this patch? That's how we're gonna do it. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and push that into the game. And it's like genius. It's like because you don't know that's happening, only they know. And then the leaks come out and so on and so forth. But what the fuck are we talking about?
Like, Star Rail also is like exceptional at that. Genshin. I'm gonna be honest, that team, I don't know if they're better at it now because I don't play as much anymore, but that team had no fucking idea what they were doing with like character kit designs and like balance for like the first 2.5 years. They had absolutely zero fucking clue. And honestly, even when they made Hyperbloom, like that shit's so fucking broken, anyone can beat the game with it now, and it's still like it hasn't gone away. They can't nerf it, right? So
that's crazy.
And it's fucking insane. And they don't really know what they're doing. The Star Rail team has been very hands-on with like how strong is this character actually? Like
correct.
Like what are the numerical values of this character at their heightened potential versus other characters? And so they know how to make a character like just better than the last one, but every single one is getting just better than the last one.
I do think it's also easier to do that in a turn-based game. I feel like there is less that you have to account for in a turn-based game to balance a lot better.
So huge. Damn, good point, Volk. Yeah, because when you have a game where it's DPS, literally damage per second, that's so hard to like check other motherfuckers like variables because it's such a multi-complex system where somebody buffs somebody or does something.
And then you jump into Wuthering Waves. It's like, but are we expecting players to be like animation canceling every single ability, or are we going for the average boomer player who's just playing it and just clicking, rotate? You know what I mean? So there's so many factors that have to be considered in that shit.
No, hell of a point out. Overall, though, I think this was a good critical thought conversation. But I would like to move into close out with Brax's personal life. Brax, what have you been doing, brother, outside of your daily occupation and diligence towards your craft? What the fuck do you do, man, on your off time? What games are you playing? You know, what friends are you hanging out with? And we'll get into you going to Austin later on.
Sure, yeah. So I used to have a lot of hobbies back when I was in college and I was like hanging out with a lot of people. I'd go out and do things. I'd play instruments. Obviously, Braxophone came from Braxton and saxophone, which is like the two things, right? So I used to play that. Sometimes I still play music. I got like my keyboard over behind my desk. You guys can't see it. And other than that, I think the interesting thing is like for me, gaming is kind of like my biggest hobby. So
of course
I'm like gaming for YouTube, and then after that I'm just gaming for myself. And a lot of that is just like I've been trying to finish Final Fantasy 16, but I have a lot of other games I've been playing as well. Like I play FF14, free to play up to Stormblood, by the way. Absolutely.
What class?
Free trial.
What class are you using?
I'm using right now I'm on Reaper, but Dawn Trail comes out tomorrow. I'm gonna try to play Viper, which is that 2-sword class. I don't know if you've seen
nice.
any of the new stuff.
I have not, but I know Reaper was something I totally would have played as well. I was a samurai for a little bit, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Dude, as we're talking about like MMOs and stuff, I gotta ask: is there one MMO like everyone talks about WoW and stuff that you played that you absolutely loved, but like it never went anywhere?
Oh no, I did this
like a
went
small
somewhere.
MMO,
Mine was.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter anything. Just like
Elder Scrolls. I would say Elder Scrolls was the MMO I played that never really like blew up, but I could be wrong. Maybe it had a good little fan base to it.
It's still alive. I did play that too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I liked it. It was cool, man.
It was really interesting because it was like, oh yeah, this is Elder Scrolls clearly, but it never really felt like a super functional MMO for me. Back when I had played it, but it's pretty alive and well. That would probably be the one for me. Or Black Desert.
I was such an Oblivion fan. It's one of my favorite games of all time. That when I saw the Elder Scrolls MMO, I didn't care if the shit just stared at water all day. I was like, I got to try it,
dude. Because the one that came to mind, like there's two that come to mind. The first one for me is like whenever I talk about MMOs, I just remember because it was like when WoW was big, but then it was coming out and it was Star Wars: The Old Republic. Did you guys play?
Oh fuck yeah, I did play. I forgot about it. I forgot about it.
It's just playing a Jedi Guardian. They had the fucking like sickest combos where you'd throw your lightsaber, then you'd force leap, and then you'd do like the force choke, and then you'd force push them, which would reset the cooldown on your force leap, and then you'd force leap. Like it was so fun. And then they had they had one gaming mode in it, like one PvP mode map. It was called Hutball, and then like PvP. Dude, I love PvP. Like that's all I did in MMOs was PvP.
It's not a bulk combo if PvP doesn't go in there.
and like this Hut Ball game was so fun, and I just absolutely loved it. And the other MMO, I can't remember. I actually can't remember the name of it, but it was like a space type, more cartoony looking MMO, and I absolutely loved it. But I can't remember the name. If I remember it, I'll bring it up. Ah, dude.
Oh, I guarantee you, somebody that's listening is going to point it out. I can't remember Space Cartoony.
Not like
no, it had like I remember the classes. Yeah, it had like this Esper thing, and it's like you run around as like this like little like fucking rabbit type thing, and you use like telekinetics, and everything had telegraphs. It was so cool, but it fucking died so hard. I actually had on my old watch, I had like watch faces like with that game. It was crazy. Anyway, get back to you, Brax. I just want to know if there's like, I just love talking about MMOs, man.
Let me chunk in my last little bit. My favorite MMO of all time is Final Fantasy 11. Dumped all the hours into it. It is a gem to my heart. Even though it's, I don't play it no more. It was fucking great. That was a big staple of my gaming life. But go ahead, Brax.
WildStar was the game.
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But FF14, I started playing it during the pandemic, and I started playing it like right before or after Genshin came out. I can't remember which. And that was always my personal game. So like when I wasn't online making content, that was always the thing that I would play. So it's been really cool to see how that's grown, but
so you weren't there for the nightmare release.
Playing it all the time, huh?
I said that. So you weren't there for the nightmare release of Final Fantasy 14. You were there after the improvement.
I
was there for the release, man.
No, I think at that time I was playing Black Desert Online, and then ESO was the two that I was playing. RuneScape also is a classic.
Everybody loves that game, and it's something that it got by me. I never played it.
Yeah, same.
Wow. It's it's weird because I think we were talking about motivation and just like wanting to like do something all the time. RuneScape was like the epitome of that, because you would get on RuneScape and the tasks were so simple, but they would be like just like entertaining enough for you to like want to do them. And then the reward was like always right there whenever you completed one of those tasks. So it was like, I want to get to level 50 wood cutting so I can cut higher level trees. So you just sit there, you cut trees and shit. And then you get to level 50 wood cutting. Use a different axe. You cut. No, listen. So hear me out. Because the end goal, right? The end, motherfuckers. That's goal.
Classic MMO, though. To be fair,
the end goal is like you want to sell logs on the marketplace to make money, so you can buy better armor or something. Right?
Oh yeah, playing marketplace in WoW was always a fun thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So you do that. You go cut the higher level trees. And then you have the higher level logs, you instantly sell that shit, you instantly get the money, you can buy the better armor. Then you can either keep doing that, or you can just go kill bosses or whatever the fuck you're gonna do. And I felt like RuneScape was so much of those like tiny little tasks that you could just always do and just always pay off.
Dude, I came to a realization. You know how you were talking about earlier, like the MMO people love Wuthering Waves, Echo Grind and stuff, but I hate it? That's because all that shit in WoW I loved, but I ran a bot to do it for me because I didn't want to fucking do it. Like, I loved the progression from it, but I hated doing it. And I never got banned, by the way.
Holy shit.
Yeah, like, dude, my skinning bot was OP as fuck. Like, oh my god, the amount of gold I made on that shit. Yeah, like, no, but like I love the progression systems, but I don't want to sit there and manually do mundane shit. That's the problem.
I think that comes with age, because now I used to have no problem like going in turn-based games and going in every single fight growing up and doing all the little tedious shit. But now with age, you're always aware of the efficiency and how your time is being spent and if it's being wasted.
No, I was 18 when I was botting WoW. They just no, there's nothing to do with that.
Well, for me,
like, it's different.
When I was younger, I didn't care.
It's different. Whereas shiny hunting in Pokemon, I would sit there and do it for hours because it felt fun to me. Like the whole
payoff was good.
The anticipation of the fucking dopamine hit when you were fucking like hatching each egg every time, and then you fucking got it. Like, it was all worth it. Like, yeah, but you know, in skinning or cutting trees, like the fucking reward at the end, like there's no dopamine during that. It's just like,
no, yeah, absolutely.
Just let my bot do it. Yeah.
All right, that's fair. The other things I've been up to, I flew home to visit some family, just some people I hadn't seen in a while, so that was really cool.
Where's home? Where's home? Like in America still, or?
Yeah, I'm over in America. I mean, it's like Portland area over in over the West Coast. Yeah,
okay.
It's really nice. Lots of greenery there. I think being in LA for a while has just gotten me used to seeing a lot of gray and brown everywhere, and it's just kind of like, oh, well, this is boring. Like, and then you go up to Oregon, and then it's like everything is green and like, you know, pink in the certain seasons, orange in others. It's great. And then outside of that, I just like Dark and Darker is my new addiction. I've been playing a lot of that. It's like, dude, I love the idea of Tarkov, but it's fucking D&D. It just goes so crazy, man. It's so good.
I wish I could relate,
what's the core
man.
gameplay? I don't actually know what it is.
Volk, I just want to share my quick little experience. Me and my boy got on because my agent gave me a recommendation to play it, and he loves it. So I was like, okay, let me go ahead and get on here and try this shit out, bro. This is my experience. I shit you not. Me and my friend were like all excited to play it. We start off in a fucking jail cell, and we spend the first 7 minutes trying to get out of the fucking jail cell. And we're like looking down. It's dark as shit. There's a spider on the outside of the gate, and we're just punching the gate. It's not doing shit. I'm like, how do we get out of here, bro? What is this shit? And then he finally turns around and finds a I don't know what he found a fucking like torch, and then he found like a lever, and he opens the gate. Finally we go out of the gate, bro, and I don't know if we're running into another player or what. I don't know. I went into it blind, but then eventually these skeletons, we enter this room where there's like 18 different skeletons, and I'm just punching the fucking skeleton. Mind you, I'm a rogue, so I'm hitting the invisibility ability. It expires in like 2 seconds. And I'm just getting the shit beat out of me by these skeletons. I don't know what the fuck's going on, bro. And I'm trying to open this treasure chest up, and a skeleton knocks me in the head, and I die. And then that's it. And then the game's over. I was like, what is this, bro? What am I doing?
It's you said it earlier. We were just bantering, but like, yeah, you definitely want like a guide for that, just to know what the fuck you're supposed to do, because they don't tell you. I'm always the kind of person that like, I love when there's new games with different gameplay, because I'll just jump in and I have no idea what I'm doing, and the fun part is just like figuring something out and finding it works, right? Yeah, and that's what I'm into. And so that's what I did with Dark and Darker. And then like, it's a PvP game, so there's some things that you just can't figure out until you've died enough times. So I was like, okay, I'll just watch a video, right? But Volk, the way this game works, basically you pick a class. It's like D&D inspired, so you have like your druid, your rogue, your warlock, or your wizard, stuff like that. And you go, it's like a dungeon delving thing where you go in there. You try to get a bunch of like loot, like that could just be like random treasures, that could be weapons, armor. They have different tiers of rarity, like MMOs. You have your white, green, gold, blue, purple, you know, all that shit. And the goal is to go in there, but you also go in there with like 20 other players or however many players are in there. And there's specific points where you can leave the dungeon that open up at random times. So you have to find the way out of the dungeon, not die to other players, not die to the environment, and find like a bunch of shit. And once you escape, you keep all that shit. If you die, you lose everything.
That's cool. I like that model.
It's actually sick.
How many other players? Like, how many players like would be involved?
I'm not sure. I know you can do trios if you guys want to play after this, but
bro,
it's like
you're gonna get killed by a centipede, bro. I swear, it's just stupid, bro. Fucking centipede was beating my ass, Volk. I was like trying to go invisible and get behind him, bro. It was just like
wait, when you say like a giant centipede, like solo leveling type, when you go into the penalty zone.
It's like your height. It's like your height. No, it's just
like
random
size,
shit around the fucking map, bro. And they're just beefy, bro. They're built different.
They are. Yeah, those guys have been hitting the gym. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, dude, it's fun. It's just like I'm not sure how many players go in there, but the dungeons are they're like the rooms are all the same, but they're in a random order, kind of.
Okay.
So it'll be a little bit different every time, and yeah, it's fun, man. I like the risk and reward of it, of like going in there and like, oh fuck, I'm at 1 HP. I need to find a way out before another player finds me, and I can't aggro this guy or I'm fucking dead.
Wait, when you lose your shit, is it just you lose what you gained in that dungeon, or like you have other shit that you take into the dungeon and then you lose that if you've gone in?
If you have like an at-home inventory and like in-game inventory.
Okay,
basically you lose everything on your character, and then you have the at-home stuff still safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
That shit was wild.
Yeah.
Volk, you gotta try it. I'd love to
game.
see you play that shit. It's gonna fucking kick your teeth in, bro.
Dude.
I actually like want to start a channel on it. Unironically,
Yeah.
I feel like I want to get good at this
It's
game.
very popular.
Well, didn't you
It's a
stop?
really fucking good
Didn't you
game.
stop uploading Grand Blue? Just do it there.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, Grand Blue's a fucking amazing game, but they're not updating it anymore. So yeah, I might just put it all there. It's good.
Yeah,
I feel like if anybody's telling you good advice on that, it's definitely Volk. That fucker knows how to revive a channel though, like a goddamn medic.
That's fucking true.
I was gonna say I might have to get the machine out on the Wuthering Waves channel soon. That's been 18 days.
Get the fucking fiddle.
I was chatting to another content creator. He's like, dude, I've had people asking me if you're like legit or you're like just like scamming because like you just stopped uploading. And I'm like, yeah, I just stopped having as much fun and I couldn't think of videos, so I just stopped. Like it is what it is.
There's nothing wrong with that shit either, man.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say
you get
Brax.
the people that are like, sorry, go ahead.
Good.
No, yeah, go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say, like, you get the people that come in there, they're like, oh, did you quit? Like, what happened? Where did you go? I was like, bro, I just
Yeah, no. So this is the funny thing,
cringe.
and so like on like moving, like changing games, like I've done it for that long where I go all in on a fucking game. I do the shit I enjoy. Sometimes that lasts 2 weeks. Sometimes it lasts 4. Sometimes it lasts a year. I've been in AFK Arena for 5-6 years now. It's just like, it depends on the game. And you always get the people doing it. I'm like, and are you still playing the last 30 games that I covered daily?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just doing
Holy shit, what a Giga Chat answer.
I'm just doing
Yeah,
I'm just doing what the majority of people do, which is jump to the next game, like, because it's fun and also it's a business. And if I like, what, you want me to stay in every game that's now getting 300 views per video and I'm making $0? Like, what do you expect? And so that is a funny thing. And like I said to you guys, if you go back and watch my Wuthering Waves reroll guide, I literally started with something like, if you're going to spend 3 days rerolling, get the account, play the game for 2 weeks, and then quit, this is the video for you. Because literally, I knew that's what I was going to do when Wuthering Waves came out. Because it's like, these games are so front heavy with then nothing to do. And I'm like, hey, I'm just going to do what I fucking enjoy and move on. Like, it is what it is.
Bro opened up and kept it a stack, but I was going to say, how dare you try to make more money off my gacha games? How dare you make a smart business decision, bucko?
I mean, to be fair, the smart decision would have just been to suck it up, find some Wuthering Waves content, keep the average views high, get more sponsorships. But I'm also at the point where, like, I want to do something that I'm genuinely excited to do and enjoying. And literally, like,
both answers are right.
I got dried up on Wuthering Waves, and I just fucking made a fresh account in AFK Arena, and then I started grinding out 2 videos a day, and I'm fucking loving that. Like, I'm only getting 5 to 10k views per video on that, as opposed to like the 50 to 100 in Wuthering Waves. But my general, and this is where I think a lot of things, you've got to balance out all the aspects. So like, I'm enjoying getting up more than when I was getting up, logging into Wuthering Waves, spending 8 hours grinding echoes, and then racking my brain of trying to think of a good piece of content to make. It's just like, like that's just stressful and not fun. I'd rather like, there's a line between money and enjoyment and general well-being. And like everyone, like, you got to find that line in everything. And so like, I was just
back
like,
to that shit I was talking about, man.
Yeah. So it's just like, I'm having fun now. Like I'm so satisfied with where I am. Like I do my Star Rail stuff. Like I think I upload maybe like 4 videos a month on this channel. That's good enough for me. Like the podcast is the best thing. Like I would love to do more podcasts, but Smack's a piece of shit and doesn't get back to me. But
he always throws shots at me every time, bro.
Damn,
you guys see this, bro. Volk gets paid extra to throw me under the bus.
Yeah, no. So like, it's one of those funny things. But yeah, and I think, and I think the problem is a lot of people are scared to move games and stuff because of that. Because of like what people will say about quitting a game and all that stuff, and maybe your audience moves on. But I mean, covering multiple games or quitting a game, like who gives a fuck? Like,
I completely agree.
Especially like, and from a creator point of view, for any creators listening, like, yes, that you can earn off the big games, but if you're not like really popping off in some of the big games, you're probably financially better off to go cover a smaller game and get a better viewership, build a stable base. And then you've got somewhere to springboard off of. Like
keep in mind, guys, this is coming from the guy who ran into the barrier of what else do I do because I've made too much money already. So he clearly knows what the fuck he's talking about. That is not what it is, you fucking prick. Can I say, like, can I also say, I came into content creation in a very different space to a lot of people that go into content creation. Where I worked, like I was working 6 days a week, 10 hours a day for content creating
12 years. So I had my stability before I went into content creation. A lot of people don't have the stability when they go into content creation. Like, I mean, Brax, you've been doing this.
That shit.
Like, this is like your only job.
Maybe I'll risk it all.
Yeah.
Blast.
I actually, so
that's how Tectone went into that shit.
Yeah.
He said, dude, I'll just fucking risk it all, man, honestly. Yeah, I mean, fuck it. Let's just risk it all, man.
Oh, shit.
Bro's got an actual true gambling addiction at this point. But yeah, no, so like I was in college, so I did have like, over in the US, I had some government loans that I'd taken out that were basically paying my rent and stuff. So like I was still a student, I was still going to school and like doing a bunch of work full time, but I wasn't like going out to like work like a 9 to 5, which I think honestly is probably a lot more exhausting. And I think the other thing is like after college, after I was done, it was a little sustainable. I think I was making like $1K a month or something, and it was better than like what I had before, obviously, because I was making fucking nothing before. But at that point, I did have to work a part-time job at least, just to get off the ground. And then luckily, when things were consistent enough for me, and I think it was just really how Genshin exploded, and then Star Rail as well. It gave me the opportunity to drop that. But a lot of people will go into it without.
I think it's quite fascinating because there's really no right or wrong answer. Like, for example, like Tectone, again, he really did risk it all. He went straight up in and was like, I don't give a fuck if I go homeless. We're going to make this shit happen, right? And then there's Volkin, who said, I came into this already solidified and stable from my 12 years of working a 9 to 5. And then there's me, who's still doing the fitness business as a golden goose for my income in case anything goes south while doing content creation. And then there's Brax, who said he just actually kind of did the same thing as me, except he actually now went full blown into content creation. There's many different avenues to get to that point of interest. You know what I mean? It's not one fucking road to get there. There's several roads to get there. And I think that's important to take into consideration.
Yeah. And I think you're kind of where I was when I started. Like that's where because like I was working full time, getting up at 2:30 every morning to do content for 2 years before work, and I feel like that's the safest way to do it, especially you know once you got a family and stuff like that, because you have more responsibilities. But I think for younger people, like going balls deep and having a crack, like you've got time to recover after that. You know what I mean?
You do.
Yeah.
Like when did you start, Brax? Were you like 20, 22, something like that? 18? I don't know.
I think it was 21 or 22. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I mean, you can just go balls deep into something and go fuck it. And if you fail for a year, well, I mean, you've still got heaps of time to recover and get back into it.
Yeah.
Whereas Brax, I started after 1 year. Put one more year on your life. That's when I started.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, I started 28.
Yeah, like you got to have that stability just in case it like doesn't work out, right? Which for you, I think it is gonna work out. It already is working out to some degree, right?
Yeah.
So it's like
definitely.
you'll be fine and like just keep going up. But I feel like for people that were my age when they wanted to start, I feel like if you are a like full-time student and you don't have to work a job, because there are a lot of people that are in that position. That I think is the most ideal position to be in, like genuinely, because if you don't make it, but you're a good student, you just have a degree and can get a job after, right? So it's like, and honestly, like people say school is hard, and don't get me wrong, it is really difficult. If you're, especially depending on your degree, it can get even more difficult, right? But like, it's not as exhausting as going to work a warehouse job, or like going to move furniture, or going to work at like customer service and stuff, because that is way more mentally taxing, and I think that makes it really hard to make content. Like,
I think
I'm surprised you did that shit.
I think to clarify, you went into different topics there, because you said working customer service. That for me is mentally taxing as fuck. Working a factory job, no, it depends on who you are as well. I loved my work.
That's true.
Like when I was an electrician, my problem was travel. I was traveling like 2-3 hours a day, which fucking sucked. Like pay was good, but travel sucked. But it was like, I loved it because I just get to work. I didn't have to deal with anyone. Maybe they give me 1 or 2 apprentices, like not too bad. I'd then just put my headphones in, listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and I would just go work for a day. I'm on my feet, so I'm active as well. It's a different style of thing, and it depends on the person you are. Yeah. And like, dude, I'd love assembly line type bullshit, roughing in apartments, like anything. Like it didn't bother me. So it does also depend on the job and the type of person, because everyone's battery gets consumed differently. Yeah.
I completely agree. But I'll pick up and move fucking furniture all goddamn day. It ain't no issue to me, bro.
Dude, yeah, really?
Like me, like I'm out. Like if you like, there was
me
nothing.
And Volker meatheads, we fucking bench press 315 and shit.
Dude, there was nothing better to me than when you had like those manual labor jobs at work that required no thought. I could just put fucking headphones in, and I could just like feel like I'm getting half a workout for all day at work, and it was like that was like I loved that stuff. But I got an interesting one this is for Smack. Unfortunately, like Brax doesn't fit into this category. But Smack, your daughter, she starts getting older. She says, I want to do content creation. Like, have you thought about that? Like, what would be your angle?
I haven't even thought about it. I haven't even processed it. If she says she wanted to do content creation, I haven't even thought about it. Obviously, as a dad, the first thing that's going to come into mind is obviously like the vulnerabilities of it, the dangers of it, and putting herself out there. But me, I'm more so about like prepping my daughter in the early stages of anything she's going to deal with in life. I'm more about like the Abraham Lincoln thing. If I'm going to cut down a tree, I'm going to spend the first 8 hours sharpening it, and then the next 4 hours cutting the bitch down. I think if I could prep her to handle all outcomes of life beforehand, then I should be good. But I know as a father, I'm still going to fucking stress out about any avenue she probably goes down. But I guess I don't really know how to answer that question yet, other than prepping her by taking her to rock climbing classes, self-defense classes, teaching her about making debates and good arguments for herself when she comes across different topics of conversation. I'm trying to touch up on things I know she's going to use as skills throughout her daily life first, and that's all I know how to do for right now. I'm still learning.
Yeah, see, I'm at the weird point where my son's that bit older. He's 6, and so like some of your friends start realizing, oh, your dad does YouTube, and it's like, and it's like, it's this whole weird thing that I just don't want to be involved in. Like, cause you know me, like, even though I make a living off social media, I fucking hate social media. Like I don't care for it at all. So it's like this whole interesting thing.
I get to Twitter like once a month, bro. I see every tweet. I'll log into Twitter like once maybe a week, and I'll be like, oh, is there something I can just say something? Oh, that'll do. And I just don't even look at it. Like it's not my thing, but it's such an interesting thing because it's something I've started to think about more and more and more, because now it's like more of a topic. And it's like, I feel like I'd be more along the lines of, you can do that shit if you want to, but you've got to have something else that you're working towards as well. Yeah. Like I feel like
that's that's the angle you were going for. I get it.
I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, obviously we know there's an opportunity to make a living out of it. But I think if I was giving advice to my son, I'd be like, have something you're working towards, whether it be study, whether it be work. And there is always time in a day that you can make, if you are committed to something, to do that as well.
Now you've kind of like refined what you were asking me a little bit more. I can give a better answer. I feel like if you're working on, because here's my thing. I think as a parent, you're trying to make sure that your kid's not only going to be able to take care of themselves when they grow up, but that they're also a human being that is holding their own fucking weight, taking care of the family, and contributing to society in a positive manner. Because if you're raising somebody who's just a shithead, like, it's not something you're proud of, you know what I mean? But like, what I'm trying to say is touch up on the fundamentals of what it means to be a responsible human being. And I feel like along the way of doing that, they will discover those avenues that they're interested in doing. But I do think it's important for them to have some kind of job, because through that job, there's just so many experiences along the way that you pick up. Like Volk, you doing that 12 years of work, there was a lot of shit you learned in there. You might not be able to like recollect it, but there was a lot of things you learned in there that built you to be a better man today. And I feel like that is important for you, saying you're not going to just do content creation. I need you to do you need to have a fallback plan just in case, but also so you can learn what it means to work and contribute.
Yeah, it's more of a work ethic, and like, because if he goes to me, I want to do content creation, I'm like, that's great. It's like, you're not doing that for 14 hours a day, are you? So no. You know what I mean? No. If you're done, you can dump 4 hours a day into that comfortably whilst doing something else. So you know what I mean? Like, it's just it's more that work ethic.
You're
type
teaching
thing.
them. You're teaching them how to what it means to be disciplined, I think, essentially. My dad always said, any man can get a job, but a man that can keep a job is somebody who's worth respecting. So teaching a kid.
Dude, can I just say, I love old man quotes. I just love old man quotes. Like, they're fantastic.
Yeah, they be spitting facts all the time, bro.
It's true.
And it's going to die with them because our millennials, we don't fucking do none of that shit.
I was going to say, Volk, you got a legacy to keep up.
I wanted to say though, like, it's those principles that you're hoping your kid learns. They are very core principles that are going to make them a good human being, worthy of being proud of or respected.
Yep. Yeah, no, I completely agree. But I just realized I completely derailed conversation because we were talking about Brax. So and I know you wanted to get onto his Texas trip as well.
I did. And then we're an hour and 11. We've already hit the mark. I feel like when we have a third person, an hour and 30 is more flexible, which is 18 more minutes. And then we'll boil it up. But Brax, enlighten us how it was, because we hung out with Tectone. So now I want to hear what the fuck it was like with you hanging out with Tectone.
Dude, I walked into so Tech was taking me to his buddy's house at one point.
Yeah.
I walked in the door and somebody goes, Volkin? I was like, no fucking way.
Well, you know,
wait, are you saying you're a giant? Are you a fucking giant secretly? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, so he's my height,
tall too, bro. Oh my god. You niggas are giants.
I mean, that's a pretty big compliment, isn't it? I mean, fuck. If everyone got that,
it's like, do I sound fucking Aussie to you, bro? Like, and then they were like, why are you hiding your accent? I was like, motherfucker, that's how I talk.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually funny.
That was funny as fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Texas was good. Like, I wanted to go see how things are down there, because I know a lot of like creators are moving over there just because like that's like a comfy place to be that's not as fucking expensive as LA. Austin's pretty cool. If you go to the other cities in Texas, those places are pretty cool too. But like, there's a lot of really great places down there. But there's a lot of good people down there. And I just want to go hang out. I asked Tech if it was cool if I like came and hung out with him when I was looking at some places. And
he told you were a weirdo.
Oh yeah, he was like, oh, who the fuck is this guy?
Fucking weirdo, psycho, bro. Get out of my face.
He asked to recreate some photos, and that was
I like the subtle accent. That's good shit. But go ahead, continue on. I'm sorry. I keep fucking babbling.
No, it's all good. So yeah, honestly, like it was really cool because I felt like he's really established this like kind of open arms community of like, yo, if you guys like the same shit that I like, you know, like let's be friends. Let's just hang out. Let's shoot the shit. And it was really cool to be a part of like a bunch of people who are like that. Because for me, I haven't really had a lot of like close knit friends in a while outside of Discord. Of course, like I talk to people online every day, but it's like since when you move on from college or a workplace or something, you lose a lot of those people that you used to keep up with, especially if you move locations, right? And so that's kind of what happened to me. And going to hang out with like Tech and all them was really fun. He keeps good company, and like it was really fun. We were gonna do a gacha cast down there. I could only stay for a few days, so I don't know if he ended up doing it. Or if we missed it. But
I just want to jump in.
Oh, we also went to the gym.
I just wanted to jump in on that. When you talk about like the style of it kind of reminds me when I like anyone who's played sport and stuff like that in team sport. It's that kind of feel. It reminded me of when I used to play footy, and like it didn't matter who you were, you come into the scene, you're into the same thing, which is the sport, and. Yeah. Every night or weekend, someone would have something on. Anyone who's in, they go, and that was the vibe that he sort of created around around the people over there. It just reminded me of like playing footy. Is just for perspective.
For me, it was college. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, college for me, it was like you had these, you had your fucking periods you went to, and then you always had projects due, and it's much similar to Brax guide making. Like you just had a lot of fucking windows of time, and you got to be disciplined, right? But in those windows of time, it was just go to your boys or go to the fucking college party and hang out with the college people, and you're drinking and you're just hanging out and you're just shooting the fucking shit, and you do that every goddamn day. That was the literal experience I got when I went over to Tex and he was just showing us to his friends. I was like, holy fuck, it's like I'm back in college, except they're doing this as grown adults. That's actually insane. I didn't even know this was still a thing. This is pretty fucking cool, you know?
You know what fucked me up the most was coming out of college and finding out that people don't do that as much.
Yeah, they don't. No, Brax, me and Volk were those people that were just like, it was weird. I was like, wait, people still do this. This is crazy.
Dude, it's nuts. And
and they were all established. It's not like they're broke fucking bums. No, they're all established people.
All people that got their own jobs, their own work, whatever I mean, it might not even be jobs. Like they all have something they want to do. They have an interest, they have a passion, and then they just like, oh, cool, you like fucking video games, you like D&D, like all this shit. All right, come hang out, you know?
Very accepting of you. It doesn't matter. Like, just like, cool, man. It's good. It's welcoming fucking energy. It's really cool.
Yeah, it is really positive. And I think that's honestly one of the, I mean, we could sit here and talk about how people perceive Tectone all day, but like, I feel like a lot of people, they don't get to see that because they just see like people on the other side of some shit and Tectone talks about it. And they're like, oh, well, Tectone didn't like what this guy said, so fuck that guy. But he genuinely is, I think, such a good fucking dude. He is. I mean, sometimes he says things and I'm like, I am never going to repeat that. But like, you know, but like, I feel like his heart's in the right place like all the time. I feel like
Volk said it best. Sometimes Tech puts so much confidence into a take that he thinks it's right and it's not. It's like, he's so confident in it that you kind of like, you know what, maybe he is cooking a little bit.
He'd be a great debater because it's not about having the and I'm always cautious on saying this stuff because people will use this to attack him if you say it because they'll take it out of context, and that's why I'm always cautious on that stuff. But I'm like,
Internet's dumb as fuck.
He can convince you of a point. I reckon he could take a complete factually wrong statement and convince you of it. I'm not saying he does that all the time, but I'm just saying his way of communicating is that strong and persuasive.
Also, to add on to that, though, Tech, to the surprise of a lot of his haters, is a very intelligent guy.
Yes.
It's not like he's an idiot. He's actually intelligent. So when he makes a shit take, I take into account that he is a smart person and it's an angle I'm not seeing. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, fuck, Tech is smart. Maybe he's cooking something here. Let me think about it a little bit longer. Let me soak on it a little bit more.
I think he's catered his persona really well. In his persona is to be an asshole. And if you're not an asshole outside, then anything that someone attacks you about, it's to the persona and it can't actually affect you. And I think it's the best safeguard persona that there is. Like, as weird as that sounds, like it drags a lot of hate towards him.
Yeah.
But it's also
same here though.
Yeah, but it's also to the point where it's completely deflected because you know that's not you. It's the persona getting hit. So it's like it's a very interesting thing.
I feel like deep down inside, every man definitely has that little HP bar that it dwindles down. You know what I mean? Whether you try to play it off as much as you want, that HP bar dwindles down. But what I'm trying to say here, by the way, we got a little bit off topic, like critiquing Tech. He is an incredible person that's to hang around. He was like me and Volk. In fact, I don't think there was a single thing you stated that me and Volk didn't have the same exact experience. It was just this big fucking giant teddy bear of a guy, heartwarming as shit, just only down to have a good time. Like that's it. No, every single thing we did was with one focus point in mind, to have a good fucking time and to appreciate each other's company with the time we had available. And that was so respectable.
Real quick, before we move on to the next thing, did he make you guys do an anime opening quiz?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And he fucking died. And I had no chance at any of them. Smack got like 2 and he got like 15.
Yeah, exactly. And he fucking waxed us when we went to the game room. Motherfucker beat our ass in every game there. I was like, bro, you spent too much time here secretly, nigga. You ain't fooling me.
Yeah, that shit was fucking crazy. I was like, do you just do this to everyone that comes over? Like, it's just a rite of passage. Like, yeah, let me smoke you in a fucking anime quiz real quick.
Yeah. I swear, like, he's one of those guys, like, he like tries to play that off as like, oh, do you want to do an anime quiz? He listens to that shit in his car every day when he drives, so that when someone comes over, he can school him at it. 100%. And you're never going to change my opinion on that.
Nobody's ever gonna know this, man. But I've said it when we went and did our in-person podcast. He's literally like my one of my best friends. They're the same way. He's the same type of person to do something like that too. But he's all about like showing off his skill in a very seamless manner. He'll be like, hey, you want to play this game? And they're like, yeah. He's a fucking monster at the game. It's like, bro, you're not slick, man.
Yeah.
Oh shit. But go ahead, Brax. We interrupted a lot, man.
No, it's all good. I was just like, he's not gonna get my ass again. I'm just studying every single day. I'm studying the blade right now.
Did you feel like Tech was trying to do everything under the sun when you were there?
Yeah, I felt like he was going out of his way to make me like make me have a good time down there, which was cool. Right. Like, I mean, he doesn't have to do all that, but it was cool that he cared so much about like making sure that I had a good time. Yeah.
That's so crazy because like, it just shows now, but you know what? He's probably like, fuck these guys. Now I have to continue doing this every time somebody comes.
now he's like, fuck, Mr. Pokey's coming. Now I got to organize shit for that.
me and Volkin are going to keep interviewing everybody that went over there to make sure he remained consistent.
Yeah. Fucking.
No, I think he genuinely loves doing it. That's just who it's in his heart. It's in his heart. It's who he is.
Yeah, 100%.
That's honestly, unless you want to talk about something else, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is there anything else you want to talk about, Brax?
Oh, we had the same wavelength, bro. We're literally
whether it's personal, gaming, anything.
I don't want to take up too much of your guys' time. Do you guys see the M-Dash video?
Oh yeah. Shit! Forgot about that. That's right. Yeah. What were you thinking about that?
I saw. So we've all seen M-Dash quit everything 100 times.
Oh my.
Right. And I appreciate that like he's not afraid to just like put how he's feeling about a game out there. Do you think the age-old question is, do you think this is an M-Dash problem, or do you think this is like a game problem, or like how do you guys feel about this? Because I feel like for him, he came from it kind of goes back to the MMO thing a little bit. He comes from MMOs, right? He wants something he can just sit down and play all the fucking time and do shit, but like not for like minimal rewards, not like mobile game shit.
Yeah. I think because I'm in the same boat as him, except I just quit and don't give a fuck and move on. Whereas he feels guilty about it. And I feel like that's the big difference is like back to the thing. Like I knew when I got into Wuthering Waves, like Smack, because we were talking about it when we were over with Tectone. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do Wuthering Waves. I'm not going to do it. I'm like, I'll just get fucking burnt out in 2 weeks. And Tectone's like, you've got to do it. What if it's like, the next big thing? And I was like, all right, I'll fucking do it. And I was like, don't get me wrong. I loved my first week of playing, but then it's like, I'm just done. And I just move on. And I just think like there is no problem with it. I think M-Tash is like just such a nice guy that he feels bad about it for his audience that is watching him. And I also think on the flip side, he has this other thing in his head where like, and don't get me wrong, I would 100% have it too. He is so close to 1 million subs, which is a big achievement.
Yeah.
And so like that's like the other weight on his shoulders is one, he's a nice guy, so he doesn't want to piss people off. And two, he really wants to achieve that. But when you're that fucking bored, like I said, when you're pulling teeth to try and make a video for a game, that is not an enjoyable way to go about your daily business. And so like he hits that. And because I honestly think he could lean into the social commentary side of the games a bit more as well. I think he would do decent at it. But I also understand I fucking hate that side of things, so I'm not going to do it. So I think it's more just M-Tash is too much of a nice guy, and that's why he gets into this situation.
Yeah, to answer Brax's question, I think you're right in both senses. He does do it to himself, but the things that he points out are very fucking true issues of the genre. Like they're very real problems, and it is an annoyance to deal with. But at the same time, I always go back to this shit that Necrit said. You're walking into a liquor store and expecting liquor to not be on the fucking shelves. They're going to be on the shelves every single time, So it's like, that's the doing it to yourself part. Go ahead, Volk.
I would also add to that. Is it a problem or a feature?
Okay.
Hold on, I gotta think about that.
Is it a bug or a feature? Oh.
Is it a problem or is it a feature?
You got to remember, these are gotcha games, which are supposed to be low time investment, gradual progression games. Like that's the way they work. So
that's what I meant by liquor on the liquor shelf. That's what I meant.
Yeah. So like I don't know if it is a problem in the games because that's the way they were designed, because they're not meant to be an MMO.
To be fair though, Volk, I would agree with that if they didn't promote their games to the world. But they're not. They're trying to get everybody from all walks of life to try their games out, which means you're getting people who don't normally. They're not used to that. They don't play that kind of dynamic.
But that's all right. They're just trying to get everyone in, and some people may like it, and some people may not, and then you just quit.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, at the end of the day, when you analyze it, you know what? That's a good point. When you analyze the concept of a gacha game, it's almost perfect in its entirety. Because if you understand that concept, then you know precisely what you're getting out of it and when to leave. It's also like when a free-to-play player complains about a gacha game. It's like you haven't spent a single fucking penny for the enjoyment you had. How could you complain about that? It's literally free entertainment for you. Dude, I don't understand that shit, man.
Yeah, and so I think, you go, Brax.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so I feel like part of it though, from his side, and I mean, I'm obviously not him, so I can't like confirm this shit, but I feel like I have been in a similar position. My content just is like different, where like I can just keep making shit every time there's a new character, and then that's it, right? But in his case, and how I felt about Genshin Impact was like, wow, this is such a good game. I want to play it more, and I can't. And like you have now really high quality gacha games that are challenging AAA games for like their gameplay loop and their gameplay formula, but that you can't play them as much, and like it just feels like shit, because like in my eyes I would rather pay $60 for a game or whatever and then have it be like something I can just fucking binge until I'm done with it. And I think for him, like maybe that is part of the frustration, is like you go into it and you're like, damn, I really want to play this game more, but I can't. Well, and also he did mention that he's got a lot of other stuff going on in his life too, so maybe the low commitment is better.
True. That
but
was
then
big.
It's like you have to go one way or the other. You can't do like really you can't do like in between commitment and make the players feel good about it, or maybe content creators feel good about it, because I think the players feel fine. It's either like you have Star Rail autoplay on your phone while you're doing whatever the fuck you're doing, or you have it be like a fully fledged game that you could just fucking sit down and play for like 6 hours. So I feel like when you have it in between, it feels not good.
What I kind of do with gacha games, especially if they're PvE only games, I go into it like a new console game. I'm going to go in, I'm going to sweat everything, do all the shit, get to the end game. Then I know the end game grind is boring as fuck. That's when I move on. Like it's just the way it is. Unless there's and this smack hates because I always come back to PvP. PvP is the endless end game for me in a gacha game.
It's true,
because it's an endless reason to keep increasing the power level of your account and trying. Because even if you're not rank 1, it doesn't matter. It's all about the competition side of things. So and that's why going back to my whole thing about the Hoyo model of games is, they are just one-time playthrough games for me. Like, and like Zenless is coming out. I'm getting excited for Zenless because I'm like, hey, new game, new fun, find things out. I'll do that for 2 weeks, and I guarantee you I'll be out, because it's like it's the same model. I was actually having this joke. I was chatting with Antilla, the dude that runs Pridewin. I'm like, dude, can you find me a fucking game that I can sink my teeth into? Like, I need like that Summoner's War, that Epic. Like, I need one of those games. There's that new Epic 7 game, but then it's all fucking chibi models, and I'm like, what the fuck? So and so this is I just fucking twigged, the light bulb came off of what my original point was going back to, was that the problem with the whole MMO players and the AAA gacha games and stuff is they're making more action, because of Genshin, action gacha games. And I don't think action is the sweet spot. Like, obviously a lot of people enjoy it. Genshin, obviously the biggest game, but when you make an action gacha game, that is where you're going to get the most pain points between people wanting to play it more and not being able to play it more, and then having that weird thing of like gacha game players the typical, probably want auto features to be able to do it because they're doing stuff. Whereas these are all manual play features, which then you're playing a gotcha game, which in other gotcha games like turn-based ones like Star Rail, all that happens on auto. You don't have to invest the time. Now you have to invest that time, but like Smack said earlier, you're investing that time for gotcha game rewards. So it's like, that's the whole weird space, and all the fucking games coming out at the moment. And I know a lot of people love it. Like, you know, you got Wuthering Waves, you got Zenless, you've got the Azure Premilia, like all these, they're all fucking action games. I'm like, dude, they're all gonna be fucking tedious as fuck within 2 weeks. I can't tell you anything else. Like it's
actually not, like, I fucking love Wuthering Waves, bro. I'm like, I dread getting on to do my dailies. I dread doing it because it reminds me of Genshin, and I got so fucking burnt out on doing that shit.
Yeah,
it's so tedious.
Respect that. And to be honest, you, it's slowly but surely creeping up on me too. But I still haven't missed a day. But I do get on like, oh shit. The one thing that pisses me off is the tacit field animation.
I was about to say.
They're patching it in 1.1, and I was like, bro, I'm about to rip this fucking game into shreds. They'll patch that shit, dude.
But like even so, and so this is the thing, and some people enjoy it, and I'm not saying that's wrong. This is just me from my personal perspective. It's like, Smack, do you like, even if the animation was fixed, do you think you enjoy it, and do you think you'll continue to enjoy for a year? And this was my whole problem with Genshin when it launched. It's like, I don't want to fucking teleport to a point, run to a battle, then manually do a mundane battle that means absolutely nothing, and spend like 30 seconds inside of that, do that 6 times, and then like that is not a fun loop.
This is the problem with these with it goes back to Genshin Impact. And
it's back to the action game, and that's why I just want to add this one little bit.
No.
I was a big one for solo leveling Arise. Like I really enjoyed that game. Auto, it had auto for everything. It's an action game, so when you had something you wanted to do, you could do it, and then it was just auto. I'm just an auto slave. I don't know. I just enjoy it.
I don't think there's anything. The thing that came to my head, I agree, Volk. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's the problem with Genshin Impact. It was such a successful business model in this space that these other companies did what all companies love to do whenever that new innovative product comes out on the market. They go, oh, we got to copy that. It worked great. And so they're now replicating that formula, expecting the same results, and they're not understanding that we've grown numb to the formula, and this is time for you to be disruptive, not mimic what the fuck somebody else is doing. But they're doing that, and you're right, Volk, it's mind numbing. But I do want to say, because that was a long tangent and I never got to put in my input, MTash, I love your fucking videos when you get on the camera and you become extremely invulnerable and you start like talking about all the mental problems that you're dealing with. They're not problems, but more like barriers that you're dealing with as a content creator going into these games. Often at times, a lot of the points you're tackling, I actually often run into as well. And that's why it's nice and refreshing to see. Because when you go into it, I'm like, fuck yeah, bro. I'm dealing with that too, Tash, man. So I just wanted to make sure, because I feel like we were doing a lot of scrutiny without giving any type of credit what you were saying. And you have acknowledged that you know that you're the problem with this, and it's not necessarily the Gacha community thing. I just wanted to give him his fucking like a little bit of credit there.
I mean, my only scrutiny on Nimtash is he's too much of a nice guy. Like he's just a nice guy. Like there's no scrutiny from me. It's just like he's a good dude, and he cares about
to be fair, the scrutiny was us going in on what he should be expecting with the liquor on the liquor shelves thing. We definitely went in on in a way, you were alluding to the fact that he shouldn't be complaining about these games because he should be expecting that shit to happen anyways, which I think is a fair scrutiny, by the way.
I don't think it's that he's complaining about the games, because I have the same complaints. It's just like, it is what it is, and it's like I just don't care that I'm quitting a game. Like,
yeah, and I think I think that's completely fair. I just wanted to ensure that MTash didn't think we were fucking going in on.
MTash, one of my favorite people. Like, don't worry about that.
He's like, you know what, gamers, fuck him. I mean, fuck Gacha Smack, Volkin. And you know what? Screw Braxophone, man. Screw them all.
Dude. Actually,
no, MTash genuinely been one of the nicest people I've talked to.
He's great. He's great.
I don't even remember like when I started chatting with him, but he's been awesome. And I think like you, I do appreciate when he does these kind of videos, because I also feel like I see a lot of these barriers, and I'm like, oh, okay, good to know I'm not alone. I think that like the viewers that aren't making content, they're like, okay, but like for us, it's like, I get it, I'm locked in, you know.
That's why I feel like those videos are more relatable to the content creators than they are to the community, but the community appreciates it because he's being vulnerable, and it's like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool. But I personally like it. But I also completely agree that the whole entirety of it is, given the dynamic of Gacha, is somewhat pointless.
Yeah. But I had another thing.
He's getting ad revenue.
I had another thing that I thought of that I think you two are perfectly poised to get into it, and that is like with Hoyo, and then all these other games trying to like muscle in on that territory, Wuthering Waves and such. Do you think any of the other games will do as good a job as what Hoyo can do at world building and promoting? Because like once again, these games are more socially focused. So when you look to what Hoyo do in their world building and their IP building, do you reckon the other games will be able to compete with that? Like, do you think Wuthering Waves is going to get that hardcore audience that are all about the world and love it? Like I didn't do any of the story in it. Do you think they're going to be able to do it as well as what Hoyo do? Because the way I see it, especially when you look at like people around the game, like the IP is what people get obsessed with.
Correct.
And I don't know if all these other games are going to do it as well, because I feel like there's something about the way Hoyo do it that sucks people in the most. Like even with Star Rail, and I wouldn't be surprised if, I know people are expecting Zenless not to be a massive hit. Wouldn't surprise me if it's the same thing there.
I think that actually what's super interesting about this is I was talking about this with a friend the other day. I feel like Hoyoverse makes Genshin more of an art form than like a game in like a weird way. So I feel like everything they do, they're so focused on the creative community and like creating things based off of this world that they've built. They're taking kind of like the slow burn approach to world building. I'm not even sure that the person writing the lore knows what the lore is, but they make it just vague enough. I think it's just vague enough that like people can connect the dots. And that's the thing. Hoyo never actually answers what the fuck is happening. They never tell you exactly what happened. They always tell you what could have happened or what maybe is happening. Or maybe they just imply that something happened and then it gets people to go, wait, did this happen? And then they like write about it. And then someone else comes up with a different theory and it gets everyone talking about this shit. And then they do all that. Like the way they get artists involved and stuff too just means there's like every single possible subgenre of gamer is involved in the world of Genshin Impact if they play the game. And some people that don't even play the game know about the game and do art of the game and cosplay the game and shit like that. I think the way they've approached this as like some massive otherworldly project where you don't all know the answers, but together you can find it has really gotten the entire community to like really get involved in the game. And I think no other game company will probably be able to do that same thing in the gacha space for a while.
And I think you did a fantastic job because you reinforced your starting point with explaining what you just explained. Everybody's more invested in the concept of the game more than playing the actual fucking game, which is, that's beautiful. I never even thought about it when you put it that way. But I personally, first of all, to go back to that AI little comment I made, I feel like the foundation of a lot of their stories are AI, and then they just take a genius writer, such as the one for the Honkai Star Rail game, and he just reads it and fucking transforms it into his style of writing. Because some of the shit they come up with is just like, it just comes off, and this is obviously a tinfoil hat theory. It comes off as AI written, to be completely fair, especially fucking Wuthering Waves. I'm just like, what the fuck is a goddamn, what is some of this shit y'all are saying, bro?
They named everything that was like a normal object into something completely fucking different. I'm like, I don't even know where we are at.
Ass shit, bro. I'm like, bro, what? Anyways, man, I feel like my whole take on that is in order for anybody to do it better than Hoyo, they have to take risk. They have to stop trying to copy Hoyoverse's blueprint, and they have to come up with their own fucking blueprint. Now, it's okay to take some of the things that obviously work like a fucking charm, like their marketing strategy, dropping live streams before the shit comes out and making sure they're delivering all these hype and stuff.
Like I've been saying this because like I said, I always go back to like I like referencing other games, but AFK Journey at the moment, I've been messaging like my contacts there. I'm like, just fucking copy Hoyoverse's application of character releases. Like you always know at least two other characters before another character's up, so you can try and plan, even though you don't know full kits. If you look at least, you know full kits, but you know enough to make a decision on what you're trying to save your resources for. And it's like, it's just such a good model of character releases that they do, along with building hype, and they just absolutely nailed it. Sorry, I just had to go into that.
No, I'm glad. That was great input, Volk. It goes back to the Abraham Lincoln shit. They spend 8 hours anticipating and hyping you the fuck up. And then they spend the next 4 hours chopping down the tree analogy, delivering the actual product. So it's like these people got to get better at understanding that big part of the success is before the game even fucking comes out. Let me hype you guys up. Let me get you guys as excited as possible. And then now, boom, okay, enjoy the game. Oh, it wasn't that fun, right? Yeah, we did a good job hyping your ass up, didn't we?
It's like get everyone excited about the character. Everyone will talk about the character for a week. The character will come out. No one will give a fuck. What's the next character? Yeah.
Yeah, man, and it's like, dude, word of mouth is still, to my knowledge, is still the number one way of marketing. And so it's a genius strategy though with that word of mouth and how you get it to spark the fire. Anyways, I think being disruptive is always the number one way. It's the number one recipe to overcoming that one person that's killing it. If you could do something different and do it well, which I don't know what that is, I'm not a fucking genius in the business development of gacha games. If I think about it hard enough, I probably could think of it, but I think that's the problem. They're not being disruptive. They're copying the exact model.
Do you think something like Azure Premier is disruptive enough with the Power World type vibe?
So I hate that I haven't done anything on this game. I've heard its name many a times, and I have heard a little bit of details. What I can say is just based off what you told me, if they're doing that, yes, that's being disruptive. That's saying, let's take an element and put it in here that they're not doing. Ecosystem of Wuthering Waves was also a risk. And it's kind of like 50-50 working and not working, but that's the type of shit that's needed in order for you to get that edge on the other company. But their marketing, Hoyoverse marketing, you don't need to be disruptive. Just copy that bitch and then deliver your game differently.
Yeah, and obviously they had the COVID buff, obviously with Genshin, which starts the fandom, but like it's fucking ridiculous. If you look at like,
bit of luck.
They put a tweet out within 3 seconds, there's over like 3,000 likes on it. Like it's ridiculous how much engagement they have on the internet. It is fucking ridiculous.
Which is a good idea to get it. That's why I made a video the other day about the Street Fighter collab, and I was saying how genius that is, because right now Hoyoverse has also did a good job garnering a bunch of hateful audience that are bitter towards how they were treated in Genshin Impact. And now a lot of people are just like, fuck Hoyoverse, and they just developed this dumbass mentality of holding a grudge against a company, bro. It's insane. But like basically, they know that they're not going to be able to tap into the gacha market as well as they normally do, because they're kind of like diminishing in terms of excitement and deliverance on games and expectations. So they're like, we're going to go into an entirely different market and tap into it because, one, it's completely untapped. So how do we get their attention? By doing a Street Fighter 6 table talk and then telling them how our game's combat mechanics and intricacies actually are very similar to fighting game intricacies. Now we're going to get the fighting game genre brought in to this to our genre, and it's going to be great. And the thing is, a lot of fighting game players and well-renowned players already play gacha games on the side because their scene is so competitive. It's insane. Like, actually, so I think.
There you go. I was just going to say that was one thing that in one of my little entries into opening Twitter, I saw EO retweet a tweet that said they were taking inspiration from Street Fighter and Digimon. And I was like, oh yeah, and that got me excited. That literally got me excited because I'm like Digimon, and then I posted because I literally what was it, less than a week ago, I got the fucking box set of the first 5 seasons of Digimon, and me and my son have been watching through it, and I'm just like, I'm like, hey, what, you got inspiration from Digimon? Please have something cool in there, and I'm down.
Say less, I'm in. Yeah, see, but that's what I'm trying. And the thing is, these fucking gacha brain rot kids, where people just don't even like, they're just doom posting with their mentality for no reason. They're like, that's not gonna work. Why would fighting game players care about this? And I'm just like, bro, what do you think the purpose of marketing is? It's to get audiences that you aren't already catering to, bro.
Okay, can I just have one little pushback on one thing for you? I'm curious to say. I love having this with you. Yeah, the brain rot. Like, why are they posting that? My problem is, like, why do you give a fuck? Like, because I know you will always make those videos that go back at these things. I'm like, bro, I just don't care what they think.
I mean, I feel like we're just a broken record at this point, because I tell you,
you want to avoid the brain rot in the other people, but it's just like, I'm just like, bro, I don't care.
Well, if you let them get away with that shit, then everybody kind of subscribes to the belief that they don't care about we don't care about it or anything, and you should care about that because that's gonna help the game be a better game. So it's like I'm always gonna say that's a dumb fucking take. I'm about to shit all over that take and explain to you why nobody should listen to it.
You're the only
that's why, bro. That's who I am. Yeah, go ahead.
Who's like who can see a comment and make a video response to it and get like 70k views, bro. Like
me.
You brought 70,000 people into an argument that with one
Here's
random
how I did
motherfucker.
but because I know that group of people actually have a bunch of people who have already subscribed to that mentality. So I know all I got to do is put out a fucking title that disagrees with them, and they're immediately going to click on it. And then here's the thing. I also know, and let me lower my voice, I'm getting fucking passionate. I also know that is also being dealt with by people who don't like hearing it. So it's like, it's a topic that I know the community is dealing with behind the scenes. And once I address it, like, oh, fuck yeah, bro, Smack's addressing it. We got to listen to this one.
I just like, I think Brax, you might be on the same page as me. When he posts those kind of videos, I'm like, no fucking shit, Sherlock, but I have to click on it just to see how he rambles for 8 minutes to get the revenue in. I'm like, how are you going to ramble on the, like, because I'm good at rambling on a game for a period of time, but it's like Smack can ramble on a straight, like a one line, like, this guy's a fucking moron. This doesn't make sense because of enter one sentence, but he can fucking talk about it. And like Tectone's great at that shit as well. And I'm just like, hey, well played, sir. Well played. This is good business.
Yeah. And so you understand the business aspect of it. But me, I am going to make sure you understand. And to make sure somebody understands, you can't one-line it. You have to break that bitch down. You have to make sure it's explainable and palatable to an infant. So I have to be as, detailed as possible when I'm explaining this shit.
Dude,
I'm telling you.
There's nothing I love more.
If I didn't do it, go ahead.
No, you go. You finish.
I was going to say, if I didn't do it, then people would start to believe that fucking garbage. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't give a fuck what content creator says it or whose mouth it comes out of. If it's dumb, I'm getting on the internet and saying that's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Here's why.
Yeah. See, so I don't know about you guys, but as a content creator, I love seeing videos from other content creators that I know they've just had nothing to make, and they've just come up with, and they've made a fucking 10-minute video out of just a fly on the wall something of nothing. Yeah. And I love watching people and how they can make something out of nothing with content. It's just like, I love that kind of stuff.
You mean like you with the clickbait titles that you just start playing AFK Journey AFK mode while you're just rambling on, brother?
Code.
New code. So anyways, guys, it's a PvP over here.
Dude, like I just love it because like, and so this is why I love idle games, because I found my niche in idle games where if there's something that takes one line to deliver, I can deliver that one line, and people that came for the one line leave, and then I can just play the game. Whereas Star Rail and stuff, like, and any of these like bigger games, it's like, no, you can't just. Like, you can't do that because the game itself is not engaging to watch unless it's some sort of setup spectacle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that's the very interesting thing. But yeah, it's just one of my favorite things when I see a video. Like it's normally you or Tectone where I'm like,
yeah,
this is a fucking pointless video, but I can't wait to see how they rambled on for this.
Volk, it's only pointless to you because you actually have fucking common sense. But the thing about common sense is, and I'll let y'all finish it.
Yeah.
It ain't that fucking common, brother. Yeah. So it might be pointless to you, but to the motherfuckers that got common sense, it's not,
fucking too good. Anyway, is there anything else? Because we have run into an hour and 50 minutes.
We get the fuck out of here.
I think it was good. Yeah, we can get out of here, man. That's good. Guys, thanks for tuning in. We got a little fucking feisty there at the end, but I love these conversations. At the end of the day, we're all trying to boil down and have get to the root cause of all the conversations, all the things that occur and how they occur. But as usual, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to Braxophone, my brother over there. Subscribe to Volkin, subscribe to me if you want, and we'll catch you on the next episode.